Hey guys, I'm Rose, and today we will be playing some more Space Engineers Mobile Base Survival. Now, today is going to be a little bit different. I want to do in my first large grid flying craft. So I've been thinking about it. While I love the Foundry being our main base, I feel like the Foundry would be better served as a mobile storage vessel for our miner. I feel like the Foundry would basically be filled with materials, not materials, but cargo containers. We'll have two refineries on it, and it will just fill up, refine all the materials, and then we'll pick it up with our flying base, and from there, we'll deposit all the resources, and it'll let us build our vehicles. I think that would be really, really cool. Um, I want to possibly do some sort of Marvel's helicarrier style base, where it's got a very big open glass viewing port on the front with our cockpit, uh, and then a big landing strip on top that maybe we can um, some sort of like hinge setup that will open up to reveal like a an entrance for certain types of vehicles. Like this could land on top of it, and we can literally drive it into a spot. I think it'd be really, really cool. And then from there, we can like deploy our different types of ships. So yeah, I want to get started on that. Um, for that though, we are going to need a lot of steel plates and a lot of silicon. I've started uh, refining some silicon. If I look into our cargo, we have about 22,000 in our miner. It's all going into the refinery. It probably realistically needs to go straight into the refinery, but we can't do that. It's gonna have to go into the connector. Not the connector, the what is it? What is it? What is it? We have ores. It needs to go into the ores. Now, before we do that, there's a small matter of power for our foundry. Our foundry needs to get plumbed up to that. So we need to probably switch over to these, and I believe it's on 4. Yeah. So I will do some sort of T connector, and we're gonna need some interior plates too. So while we are at it, let's grab pretty much all the interior plates we can manage. Do we have... Yeah, we have a fair amount of stuff. We can do this pretty easily. So that that that, and then into ones of use. And this way, the foundry doesn't run out of power because we have tons of ice, but we don't have we don't have any way of getting that ice into our motors or our engines. So this way, these can run, and I believe they are running if we do this. Yeah. And then those are powering those. So we look into this. We have an hour's worth of power, or 2 hours worth of power. So we should be okay now. Awesome. And that's with the refinery running, and it's probably also recharging our miner, because our miner was low on power. Yeah, we got about 2 hours worth of power now. Or do we? Is that part of this? We'll disable the parking real quick, even though our thrusters aren't on. We got about 3 hours worth of power. Do we? Do we? Let's check now. We have 16 minutes worth of power. I think part of that has to do with we have a lot of silicon in our inventory. So we are just going to reconnect, turn our thrusters off, and run it from there. And then I will get back to you guys once we've acquired a good amount of materials. Alright, I am trying to get a basic shape down. I think the girders would look or not girders, the windows would look really, really nice. Pointing this way, we have this nice little cockpit. This will be like the start-ish of the cockpit. These blocks right here are just supports for the windows so they don't all fall down before we get the overall shape in. I think it'll look really, really, really cool once we get it all settled. But I think our Foundry is now really, really lacking in storage capacity for ores. I've noticed really badly that I had to upgrade our storage capacity because we are maxed out on our storage for incoming ores. And this is supposed to be the refinery. This is supposed to get all the ores. And it somehow can't. It's not great. So I think by the time we start doing stuff, I have this on recharge mode. It's at about 22% charge, which is not great, but it's good enough to get us moved off. So we'll pop this back on auto, pop our thrusters on, release our parking brake. We have about 4K worth of iron waiting to get deposited. Which is not good. So I think it's time for us. We can land a little smooth. I know it's not going to be great, but it could be worse. We'll turn it off so we can save some battery from when we pop it back on. And I think it's time we start looking at the Foundry a little bit closer. So we're gonna go in here, pop our girders back in, pop our interior plates in. We have about 1,000 interior plates that I've been trying to cook up because we're trying to get this basic form in. It'd be great if we can kind of like go all the way back, but that's going to require us to do a lot of finagling. So I'm gonna start on this and get the basic shell set in, and then I will get back to you guys. 3. Alright, so I've done a little bit of modifications to the ship. Nothing too crazy, just spreading out some room, moving some components around, making it overall look a little bit more like it's meant to look like the way it does. And just plumbing up some extra things that do need to be plumbed up, otherwise I can't do anything. Like our survival kit that is upside down. If I can get my hands on a better assembler, I want to say this is working. It is. Okay. If I can get my hands on a better assembler, then we can get some superconductors, and I can actually switch this out for a refill station. This would look really nice right there. And of course, the survival kit would go onto our main ship. But it wouldn't be a survival kit anymore. It would be a full-fledged hospital. Um, so I'm thinking the... Ooh, trying not to get stuck here. This will be the main cockpit. You know, we'll have this right here. I want to put some LCDs here that show, like, how much we have stored as far as ores and whatnot. Power consumption, stuff like this. You know, little stat sheets that let us see where we're at the moment. We'll make this some sort of lift or something. I don't want it to just be a straight shot out. Or maybe what we'll do is, because this connects into this, we'll actually make this like a little platform. That would be pretty nice. Give it some actual aesthetic look. Went ahead. Engines are put up. Those were there, but get the hydrogen tanks put up in the front, so you know when we ram into something, that's the first thing to go. It's I couldn't find a good spot for it because all of this is going to be different. That needs to be put in here. All of our stuff needs to be put in there. Because we are going to grind away this. Oh, that fell right through because I didn't realize we had a light right there. I don't know how you miss something like that. I kind of need some steel plates to do anything. We'll grab one steel plate, because that's all you need to place these blocks. And then we'll grind away all of that. Then put it all in here. As far as all of our ores, that's sitting in this right now. And then we'll move it into a different cargo container in here. But we got our basic refinery. This is now going away. We can take our iron and our silicon and throw it into here for now. All of our components need to be put up for the time being because we are quite literally just dismantling everything. Then all of this can go into us. That's not what I want to do. And of course, this is going to get moved as well. But basically, the miner will land on there. It will push all of the ores out into a modular cargo container for ores. Anything that is ice will be moved over to here, connected up to this. So we'll have one plumbed up right there for ice, one plumped up here for ores. So we'll have an ore container right here and an ice container right here. I don't know about making the modular containers because we're not going to have that much ice unless we are really stockpiling. I can see why we would do it, but I mean, I guess we could. We could leave it for ice, but we'll have it plumbed up to our other container for pumping out resources. That way, yeah. So we'll have two modular containers right here, two for ores, and then a ore container and an ice container. So what we'll do is instead is this one will be for ores, and then this one will be for ice on top, but that middle one will be for we don't need to do that. Yeah, we don't need to plumb that up because we're not taking out of that. I was trying to figure out, okay, which way we need to do for it doesn't matter. The ice and the components are getting pumped out this way because we'll have a another one of those eventually right above here that will be for output. So we'll have an input right there, output right there. So I guess all that's left is putting in these modular cargo containers. So we'll go ahead and get rid of all those. And I will put these cargo containers on our list. They need interior plates to start them. We are not going to have enough. Say that plain and simple. But I want to get at least something put in. I guess for now, we'll just put the ore one in. Why is it still asking for superconductors? I guess I had that on the build planner. So that one will be for ores. And I think for now, because we just don't have enough interior plates at the moment, we'll put a refinery and an assembler right here. No, because that's gonna block it. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a not one of those, one of these conveyor sorter. We don't need to withdraw interior plates because we have interior plates, so it's fine. So the conveyor sorter goes into that. And then, before we do... What is the basic... Okay, it doesn't need interior plates, right? No, we're fine. Okay. I was making sure I don't accidentally soft lock myself. So that would be terrible. I think for now, really, because we have... We can get... Put the basic assembler on top of that. This is getting moved as well. This is not going to stay here, but that will at least allow us to produce interior plates. Yeah. There we go. That solves that problem. Because I think we have like... Yeah, we have like 2k iron. We'll be good for the time being. Already. Now that that's there... I can't hit K on this, but I can use build vision. We'll name this or input. Bear sorter or we'll put it to whitelist. Oops. Whitelist. Or we may not be able to do that. We may have to do that through this. It'd be called or input. Drain all, set to on, set to or, and add. There we go. And then while we're here, let's just grab some. There you go. Okay. And then what we'll do is now we'll put the conveyor converter, because it moves big to small. Because this one will be connected to this one, it will just pump all of it, and once this gets full, it'll just move on to the next one. Which is what I will want. How many interior plates do I have? Before, I need motors and construction components. This needs to go right here. I believe that's when it starts turning. I'm trying to conserve some hydrogen because while we don't have our ice machine set up, a little awkward. My keybinds are a little bit funky after not playing for a little bit. I've been on a Baldur's Gate 3 kick where I've been playing nothing but Baldur's Gate 3 for the past like 3 days. 3 to 4 days? About a week. About a week. I've been playing Baldur's Gate for about a week. And that is one of the reasons why my last upload got delayed so far back. It's because I was playing Baldur's Gate and I looked at the upload and was like, why isn't this uploaded yet? I should have been already uploaded. Well, I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 and accidentally closed out my tab because I was so focused on the game, I completely ignored it. And I stopped it from uploading properly. I was like, oh, well, probably should fix that. And it was I tried to upload in 4K. Because YouTube downscales with compression and everything. That way, when people watch normally in 1080p, it doesn't look super compressed. But yeah, I try. It doesn't always work. I think my second video is not in 4K, just because it was acting up. But yeah, so we'll have everything pouring out of that sorter. I think I should have that set to blacklist drain all, so it just pulls everything. And then it go into our ore container. And then we'll have one over here doing the same thing, but it's whitelisted for ice. And then that's all we have to do. But we are going to have to build that wall up to, I think, 3 high, because it won't let us place it unless it's like 3 high. And then I have to work out the back. I'm terrible at working on backs on vehicles. It just, I don't know what to put there. Oh, and we lost one steel plate. But yeah, I'm trying not to cut out too much of this. Just the parts where it's like really technical and boring. That's the part I always hate watching, is it's just sitting there watching them place blocks. Y'all do not want to watch me individually place each one of these, because I don't like to build with welders and blueprints. It has its merits, but sometimes you want to watch someone figure something out, and those people. I love watching people try to figure out solutions to things. If I sit there in a creative world and just mess with it, it's no one's enjoying that. The only person that's enjoying that is me. And then it becomes quite boring. I think this goes right here. If I'm correct. We'll add that to the build planner. Is it control? It's alt click in. Yep, there you go. Want to get rid of all the other resources that I didn't need. Interior plates. Yeah, I wanted the interior plates though. Did it complete it, or did it run out? It completed. Okay. Now it is not 3x3. I wish I made it 3x3. I think I made it 4, not 3x3, but 3 wide in the center. I think I offsetted it to 2, so it's slightly skewed, unfortunately, but I can make this work. I can always make this work. So we need our conveyor sorter, and then our conveyor converter. And then what we'll do is add that to the build planner, add that to the build planner. And if I did this correctly, we should be able to land on top of this with ice in our system, and it will just pull it out. Which what I'll probably do is I'll just I can't. I don't have a landing gear. I guess we'll just withdraw some ice in this. I put this sideways because we're going to connect it up to this. That way everything works, and I don't have to put another conveyor converter right there, because it doesn't make sense. If I already have one, I'm just going to plumb it into that. That way it will also grab regardless. So if I have ice, it will priority put it into these, because this is always going to want ice, so it's always going to request ice. And I believe it goes 2 ways, even though it's set to pull. So let's rename this to ice input, filter mode blacklist, drain all on. Then we want this to be ice, and it's not going to show up unless we go into something. Ice input, whitelist, ice. There you go. So it should just automatically pull ice now. And then we need motors and construction components, so we can plumb this all up. We're going to turn that into a T connector, so let me remove it real quick. And then go to 4. That goes right there. Okay. And like that. We'll weld this up real quick, because this takes priority. In case I don't have the materials, I can just fill that with ice, and it'll just work. Alrighty. And then here comes the finagling part. I'm leaving the other connections open in case we want to have different hauling sorting systems. This is going to take ore over here. This is going to be components and ice. But you know, we may put one in the center for like specific types. Like this is, we're going to be hunting for a specific material. Let me go into my system, set a conveyor to a conveyor sorter to specific type, and then it will always put it in, you know, a specific storage. Or maybe we make a trailer that's more cargo containers. We can hook that up to the trailer through like a hinge. Yeah, you know, just room for improvement. I doubt we'll be putting a trailer on this, but we could always possibly do it. So it's better to have room for it than to assume that I'm not going to do it. Uh, 4, not 5. So we're gonna switch this to up. And then I'm gonna wiggle you. I'm trying to make this at least in a semi-optimal position. I think it goes right there. Alright, now it just needs to be welded up. What will what I'll probably have to do is these are double-ended, correct? Yes. So we'll put one right there. And then I will name this like anti-ice. You know, something that I'm gonna see. Anti-ice containment, blacklist. So that way, this will never fill that cargo container with ice. That way I can still put it here, but it will never grab from this, overfill this, and then throw ice into here. That way, this cargo container is always components. That cargo container is always ice, and this cargo container is always ore. And then we will actually name these too. Ice storage. I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong. It'll be okay. And then this one will be ore storage 1. Because we'll have another one right here for ore storage 2. Okay. It's all coming together. And then we're gonna remove this basic assembler. For now, at least. And if I put this refinery in here, it's just a refinery. Does it have large-scale inputs? It only has small inputs. It only has small inputs. Before I build it, does it... It seems that we do have what we need to put this on. Let's put it on. Let's put it on. Let's put it... How does it affect it? How would we do this? This cargo container needs to go there. So I want to make it so that this... I'm trying to at least plumb things up. For now, uh, I would love to put that one in. But, rather just have things working for the time being than to put that in. Because I'm pretty sure we're running low on resources, and I don't want to accidentally screw myself over. So, basic refinery will go there. We're going to start throwing all of our components into here. Stone counts as ore. Yeah, and it automatically refines it. I know there's no point in me having a refinery or an ore set up in here if we're just going to refine it. But, you know, I may have it for backup reasons, you know, because of course I'm going to have better refineries with yield modules and power modules and stuff. And this would mainly just be like, I need this to do something on world, like off of the main base. Like this is like I can pick this up, send it, and it can be a second base, you know, a beta base. Something we will end up using, but isn't actively going to be used every single time. You know, it's there when we need it. Maybe the main base gets destroyed for some reason, like we get attacked. Well, we can deploy this base, or have this base on world at all times. We always have it. Also, I just think it's really neat. It's fun to play with. I don't need a reason for it at all times. It is very useful for a expedition rover, though. If I want to go possibly keep my main base from getting involved with something, but I don't want to strategically... I wish there was like a sort option where I can just click on this and it would just, you know, just go through. But say for some reason, you know, we're attacking someone. I don't want to take the main base with me. I can take this with me alongside fighter ship, and we'll be right as rain. And I don't remember where I got this enhanced grinder from. It was probably something that I did off camera. I may have gone and looted something, I want to say. I don't remember getting that. Oh well. I'm sure it's not important if I didn't have it uploaded. Modular cargo container is now gone. That can sit right here. And then this is ore 2. Because this is ore storage 1. This is... no. Wish to respawn. This is... ore storage 2. Ore storage 1, ore storage 2. I don't have the S capitalized, and I don't want to do that. There we go. High storage, component storage. Cool. And all I need in this system to make it perfect is to put a basic refinery in, or not basic refinery, basic assembler. Unknown signal was detected. Are we about to get attacked? No, fine. Alright. I'm gonna pop this right here. And we're missing a few things. Computers, displays, and construction components. I'm pretty sure I have all of that. I just didn't want to go into my inventory. It is that button. Okay. Yep. And then I'm just gonna plumb that up for now. Hopefully we have enough. Motors. We don't have any construction components or interior plates. Yeah, we have like 2 interior plates. So I need 20 of those, 20 of those, 20 of those. And then it needs iron and nickel, which I'm sure we have tons of. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna plumb this up. And then when we get to this one, I actually want to switch this to... Is it on 4? Yeah, it's on 4. And then I need this added to the build planner. Not withdraw 1 motor. Okay. That way it's not just sitting in... Ooh. This way it's not just sitting in the assembler for now. It actually gets put through. There we go. And then I'm gonna rename this. Rename that component input, and there we go. Cool. Trying to think. We want to put one of these on here. Oh, it doesn't matter. I thought those only had one side. Okay, well, that helps me out a bunch. And the refinery... Put that there because eventually it's going to go into a connector on top. That way it goes into whatever it needs to go into. And same thing with that, but I want to be able to access that for now before we get into the main ship. This is coming along really nice. I really like this. If we're gonna put this here, just to make our lives easier. Just to make our lives easier, because well, no, because that can't fit that way. There we go.
Energy low.
Oh, and our suit energy's low. Good time to fill up on hydrogen, too, while we're at it. What are we on for ship power? We're at 9 hours of power. Do I have the batteries on the group? Don't. It's got my, control seat on. It doesn't, yeah, 4 mixed blocks. If I click on this, it's got my control seat on. Control seat doesn't need to be on batteries. I don't know why it always does that. We're at 17% for 3 batteries, but we're on 9 hours of power. I guess it's because nothing's actively running. Okay. I mean, it's good. But I also want our... hydrogen tanks on this, because I want to put them on stockpile mode. So it's at 100% for those 2 tanks. So if it's at 100% for those 2 tanks, we're at 17% power. Let's go ahead and run our engines to fill up that battery. There we go. And then we will probably put that on a programmable block where if it's like, hey, if our hydrogen tanks are at a set number and our power is below a set number, turn the engines on to make sure we always have power. Okay. Now that that is here, let's put this on. For the time being, because it just works. Well, if it's for the time being, and I'm not going to make it permanent, I'm not going to do that. Because I was thinking about putting another connector right there, but why would I do that? Alrighty. Need more interior plates. Oh, and we got to set that up. We can do it down here. Okay, on this, and then we look for component input, whitelist, components, add. Now this should never fill on components. We should always see them pull out. So here. It's not set to drain all, is it? There we go. Okay. I need those interior lights. And then we just turn that on. I'm missing one motor. And the reason we put that on is because that's going to connect up to this. So it, even though I wasn't thinking about it, I ended up doing what I needed to do, because that was somewhat unintentional, and it ended up being exactly what I needed. Now that doesn't work though. This needs to be a T-cap. There we go. And we'll weld this back up just so it still functions. I don't know if I have all the materials I need. And then what we'll do is, probably off camera, I will end up, need more component. I'll end up welding this all. Finishing the exoskeleton, welding it all, putting some lights in. Probably not putting a door in. I'll probably cut a hole right here for us to pull out of. I need more than that. I don't know what was on the build planner, but there was something on the build planner, so. There we go. That's a little funky looking. Probably, in hindsight, could have put a, one of these conveyors in. It probably would have been fine, but it's there now. It's not going to get fixed. But yeah, that is starting to look really swank. Really, really, really starting to look like an actual storage unit set up. And the great thing about these is they can go up one more. So if we're finding that we are actually mining more than we can manage, we still have room. We'll have 6 ingot storages. The only thing we're bogged down now is our refineries, but hopefully we won't be on these too much. These refineries and assemblers are going to get probably removed from here. We'll get some big ones put onto the big ship. Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. Can't wait for it. Let's go ahead, take all of our ice out, put it into this one, and then we're going to, well, I guess, yeah, that has everything in it that we did in our inventory. We'll start trying to grab all of this ice and silicon so we can get rid of that machine. I don't know why it put construction funds in there. we have that set to not being able to do that, but I guess it didn't listen. I'll have to finagle it with it more. There's always some finagling. Oh, wrong way. Yeah, it's going along pretty well. And this really got spurred on by the fact that I was working on that, and I was like, man, I'm literally sitting on so much iron. I can't use any of it because none of it's getting sent into a cargo container to get processed. It was all just sitting in there. Because worst case scenario, what we'll do is we'll put another assembler or refinery on top of this and just plumb it up into the series. It'll drain more power, but it will work. And all this silicon is for our windows that we're gonna throw on it. Here we go. Our mobile base is definitely mobile basing. Our mobile base is mobile basing. We'll power on this. Put our thrusters on. Put ourselves on top. Just to get a look of how it's going to kind of plumb up to be. Put our parking brake on. Turn that off. Put our batteries on recharge mode. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm messing with this pretty hard. We still need to put programmable blocks, and I believe it is. I don't know. I'll have to mess with it. I'll look into the wiki because there's a whole wiki for this this script. But we're gonna put LCDs right here. You have to name them like it's LCD2 is the script. You have to name them like LCD in like parentheses or brackets, and then it will connect to the system. And then you have to literally type in like a sub command into the script, and it will pop up specific things. So I can't wait for that. It's gonna be really cool. That's what I'm most excited for, is like to actively see what we're lacking and what we have too much of. And yeah, it's gonna be cool. I wish this didn't count as a component. And I can put this in these. Well, I can believe like you can subdivide from components into specific items. So I can have a cargo container have nickel, iron, all that stuff. We run out of power. I think we ran out of power. Are these empty? Yeah, negative 20 watts. Or 200 watts. We're out of power. We're out of power. Why are we out of power? Take this off of recharge. Put it on charge to depart. Turn my thrusters off. Are we not producing enough power in our grid? We need to throw on another hydrogen engine. That's probably what it is. We're probably we're probably not producing enough oxygen. We also have a ship on recharge. Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? You know what it is? That's set to recharge. So it's gonna recharge on this. It's gonna recharge our batteries on this because it's gonna do it on that. Um, okay, well that's a little concerning. But oh well. Oh well. Anyway, let's get into the cockpit for our final look through for today. This will be the last part of today's episode. Alrighty, so we didn't get any visuals really set in today, but we got 4 major cargo storages. We got everything shuffled around. We've got an actual landing platform on top, so we're just not landing on all of our components and maybe potentially breaking them when we turn our thrusters on. Um, we are probably in need of more hydrogen and engines running and everything, but we will worry about that later. We got our legs stuffed out a little bit harder, so they're actually in a good spot. Visually, we didn't do much, but we did a lot. We even got our potential main mobile base started. It's very wireframey, and it's pretty much just a T right now, but yeah, it's gonna be really, really, really cool. Um, I will probably get all of this actually built in. I'll swap those minor parts out for a welder and weld them all up and get this painted. I don't know what type of paint job I want to do. I definitely want to do something, and I want to make this look a little more aesthetically pleasing as well, because it is not looking aesthetically pleasing at all. We may even lift this up and get these wheels set farther underneath. I feel like we're kind of just like slammed on the ground because of all the cargo containers. So it probably needs more wheel clearance. Especially with us being on these mountains. I don't know how we're going to get out of here. Like, we're gonna have to build this soon because we are not getting any power or, like, for solar being in the shadows. We're not getting far with the hydrogen thrusters. Like, I throw hydrogen thrusters on this because we're so high up, we're not getting much power. So we're getting bogged down by all the weight of the vehicle. It's to be determined. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next time.